Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Global Reviews webinar series. My name is Kapil Bhatia, and I'm the Senior Client Advisor with Global Reviews. Today, the webinar is all about optimizing the user experience for locating course range. In this webinar, we cover the findings from the recent higher learning study conducted in Q4 2017 for desktop devices. We will also be looking at some insights on how information architecture impacts the user behavior when it comes to finding a course on a website. We will be sending out a presentation to all the participants, and if time permits, I'll be happy to take a few questions. From an agenda's perspective, what we'll be covering is the top level findings for the higher learning industry and talk about the strengths and weaknesses in the websites, and in the end highlight and explain the key opportunities on how to make your website more efficient finding a course. Global Reviews is a 17-year-old company working across multiple geographies from Australia to UK to various European markets. We recently have started working with a financial services client in Canada as well. We provide insights for growth that you don't normally see for measurement, benchmarking, and ongoing optimization of the digital customer experience, resulting in higher conversion of prospects to consideration and purchase. We help you in understanding how and why prospecting students behave the way they do on your website. What's important to these students when it comes to taking a degree course. In addition to that, we also look at what your competitors' strengths and weaknesses are and how they go about winning prospective students. This is a list of universities we are currently working with. Over the last 3 years, we have worked with 25 different universities, helping them enhance the digital experience for prospective students. And here are some of our clients from various industries that we work with across multiple geographies, which allows us to bring you the best practice ideas from various industries globally. In terms of a methodology, in today's session, I'll be covering on the Consider and Act sections. The Consider section is about how effectively do you engage students and help them match their products to their services or needs. And the Act is all about the application process for applying for a course on a degree on a university website. In terms of research, our research is hybrid in nature. We get inputs from customers and not just Global Reviews' perception of best practice alone. The behavioral inputs use in-market customers who are actively looking to pursue studies. We also make sure that the users don't evaluate a university they are currently associated with to avoid familiarity issues, and also all users don't evaluate more than one brand across all our research. All our criteria and tasks are refined over time to keep up with customer expectations. And what I've taken you now is only a glimpse of our methodology. There's so much more that we could cover. Now let's look at the industry results. In this research, which was conducted from September 22nd to 27th November, we had 796 participants and 22 brands were evaluated, and this was conducted on desktop devices only. Also, to let you know, we have recently launched a mobile-only study for higher learning industry as well. And here is a list of all the brands that were part of this study. This slide shows you the digital sales effectiveness scores, the overall scores for all the universities. As you can see, the industry is led by Deakin, followed by ECU in the second place. The university scores are compared versus the last study, and there are some unis that were not present in the last round, hence their scores are compared to a different study. And the industry average for this round of research is at 62%. In this slide, what you see is actually those 13 different categories which allow us to measure performance of each of these universities in the study. While this is how we categorize all these 13 13 categories depending on from initial engagement to postgraduate application. Here is a list of all the top performers in each of these categories. As you can see, none of the universities are performing well in all the categories. There's different universities do well in different categories, which shows that there's a lot of scope to improve for all these universities in all the categories. And here's just another way to look at all these different phases from a user behavior perspective, starting from browse to submit. In today's webinar, we'll be covering the locating course range category, and we would be having a brief look at a subcategory called returning prospects, which I'll be showing you some best practice examples. Insights and opportunities. Well, why is the site navigation such an important area when it comes to looking for course range? When we ask the students to rate the following elements on which of the following elements would be important on a website when deciding on a degree or a course with the university, what they have told us is that navigation is the second most important criteria. Remember, easy navigation helps students find the information efficiently. Whoa, this slide looks very busy. However, my intention is to highlight how we actually measure a task. So our task performance is measured based on 4 different criteria. That's effectiveness, which is actually a combination of success rate and confidence. So we see how many participants are actually able to find the information that they've asked them to look for on a website. Then we look at efficiency, which is about how long a participant takes and how many pages it takes them to get to the right information. We also ask them their satisfaction rates post completion of tasks. And then there's an evaluation where we ask them if they did encounter any problems while completing the task. I've highlighted 2 different universities, that's ECU and CSU in this study, which were among the top performers. However, being the topmost performer or having a good success rate may not be equal to having an efficient website. Why? So here's a chart that depicts success rate versus the time taken to find that information or to find all the courses available on a website. Here, as you can see, the success rate may not be equal to having an efficient website. The average time taken to complete this course range task was 57 seconds, and the average success rate was 65%. If you look at both the universities, that's ECU and CSU, while ECU looks alright, if you look at CSU, their time taken to complete the task is way beyond the average time taken by other universities. If you look at some other universities like Swinburne, even though they have done well from a timing perspective, the success rates are well below the actual average, industry average. Or you look at Uni-Adelaide, which is among the worst performers in this entire task. If you look at Curtin, which is the 3rd most top performer in the overall scores in this research, they are also just performing on average when it comes to locating a particular course range. In terms of key opportunities and issues identified in the locating course range task, we felt that one of the biggest issues was there was multiple pathways that were offered to students to look for a course range, which actually has confused a lot of students because they try to use different tools available to them to look for this information, and which may have actually caused a lot more delay. And further, the more delay it causes them, the more diverted they become, and their attention is lost, and they might move out of the website. So there's absolutely an opportunity to simplify this information, use formatting, progressive disclosure techniques, give them tools to help them identify the course that they want to do. Now let's look at the first issue that I've highlighted, that's multiple paths competing for attention. In this slide, you can see a click path for the same task, which was your task is to find a page which displays all available business courses for the University of New England. As you can see, the users went on to click on different areas of the website to find this information. They were not sure which particular link or tab would have the information for all the courses available on the website. Here's a screenshot of the actual homepage of the website, where we can see that 6% of the users go to study with us page, which may have the correct information. However, 22% people felt that what to study section in the menu actually had all the right information, which actually led to a lot more errors. So if you look at the what to study area, you can see that how they have clicked on what to study, and then they've gone to different study areas, and then some of the study areas do not list business, and some search into accounting, or they start looking from an alphabetical order to look for business courses. They couldn't find it. Eventually, some of them have also clicked on postgraduate link on the what to study page, and then started using the course finder to look for business courses, which actually is causing a lot more confusion for these students. If you look at some of the best examples, I would like to highlight University of La Trobe. La Trobe University does well when it comes to this task. Looking at the click part, you can see that 65% of the users actually went to a specific area on the website called course/business. They never had to look anywhere else to find this information. They started on the top level nav, and one of the significant findings is majority of them start at the same point. Also, there's consistent labeling, and the page reduces the cognitive load. And this is one of the comments that we got from a user saying it is pretty easy to find this information on the website. And how does La Trobe actually manage to encourage users to follow the same path? What they have done is they have made sure that they have given a low priority to their generic website search. They have made sure they have enough clear buttons. If the user is not able to interact with the top level nav, they scroll further down. Their buttons are of clear shape and size, and encouraging users to interact with those different course categories. And they also have a search finder which is just about the full to encourage users. And if you look at the search tool, if somebody looks for the courses on the search tool actually returns generic results with contextualization to assist with matching results to needs. The first result brings users to the business and commerce page. Another finding that we had was La Trobe has a very efficient predictive search model, which actually cuts down the number of clicks to reach to the course that a student is looking for. Going to the next issue that we highlighted was the ambiguous labeling, which actually leads to confusion in finding the right course. Best practice example is ECU. So this is the click path for ECU for the same task on finding a course range. As you can see here, over 50% of the participants actually start in their top level nav and interact with different options available in the mega menu. Overall, the users are able to go through two different parts. Some interact with the top level nav, or some of them interact with the course finder that's available on the website. So nobody gets lost into different sections looking for this information. Again, they have a very smart way of labeling. So what I have done here is I've actually compared two different parts here showing the same information. If you click on the undergraduate section, which is just below the fold, it actually takes you to an area called the undergraduate study, and you can click on something called skip to course, which actually gives you a list of all the courses available. However, if someone decides to use the drop down to select a particular course category, they are straight away led to the entire course category called business and law, and then you click on skip the course, and you can see the entire list of course options available. So that's a smart way of making sure the experience is consistent across the pages on the website. Now let's take you through some examples on how universities are offering different tools to students who are searching for course options on a website. First example is USQ. So USQ actually refers to you and your throughout the page, allowing students to have a connection with the website itself. In terms of their search options for courses, they've got three different sections available for students to look for different course options. A, they target a section to a segment of students who think they know what they want, versus there's some students who know what career they want to pursue, and then there's a third area which they target those students who just want to explore the website. So they pretty much divide their entire search experience based on student persona and trying to cater to different kind of students on their website. They also ensure that they have a statement available on their homepage just to build credibility and trust in terms of showing how their graduates are able to get a job post completion of studies. Deacon is another great example. They've actually introduced a tool which is available on their sidebar menu. What this tool does is it allows you to interact and search courses based on student type, HR, interest, intake, location. The tool also shows you number of courses available based on filter type. When we compare Deacon's performance for locating course range task versus the last study, they were up by 23% in this study. The last example in this section is University of Queensland. They also have a course search tool that's accessible via Future Students menu. So what UQ does from a tools perspective, they allow students to look for course options based on student type, location, semester, rank, etc. Now let's look at the section where we have done some analysis on all the 22 universities that were part of the study for their locating course range task. And we have tried to bring you some findings on how do students behave based on these websites information architecture when it comes to finding the course options available. So the first finding is, after 22 universities measured in the study, 20 have a top level nav presenting various funnels. Of those 20 unis, 14 have a mega menu in the top level nav for user interaction. Of the 14 universities, 8 list categories in the mega menu. To give you an example, La Trobe and QUT are those two different universities who actually list course options on their mega menu. Of a finding, across the 22 universities, 55% users interact with top level nav on the website. Yeah, so when we look at the way students interact with the website for this task, over 50% users prefer interacting with the top level nav, and if they are not able to find any further options, they start scrolling further down on the home page. How does the finding actually impact the task performance? Well, the websites that list course categories in the mega menu, they had an average success rate of 71% versus and the time taken was 51 seconds. And this versus those websites that don't list course categories in the mega menu, their average success rate was 57%, and the time taken was much more than the websites that list course categories in the mega menu. Well, then in that case, what happens to those websites which have a top level nav but don't have a mega menu? Their average success rate is at 64%, and the time taken is 60 seconds. Well, so they're not the bad, they're not the worst, or they're not the best, they're somewhere in between. Some examples of similar websites: Swinburne and USQ. Our top finding: of the 6 unis, only 37% users interact with top level nav. Most users are inclined to scroll further down to look for course options. Now let's look at some best practice examples for returning prospects. Well, if you have done all the hard work of getting those students to revisit the website, it only makes sense that you have tools to help them find the information that they are looking for once again. It just reflects the level of interest that the students have in your website. So out of the 22 universities, 9 have some sort of functionality for returning prospects feature. To show you some examples on these universities, here is Deakin. So Deakin actually has an option to save courses from your course page. You can access these courses once you actually return to the website from the right hand menu. They also give you the option to compare and share these different course options. Uni of South Australia also has the option of you can favorite a particular course, and on your return you can access this course information for easy access. If we look at some other industry examples for returning prospects, let's look at the insurance industry. Insurance industry is very good at helping users retrieve a code that they must have taken a lot of time to fill in. So we usually, most of us go to an insurance in the website, give up all the details, get a code, and then what these websites are good at is allowing you to save that course allowing you to save that code information, which you can come back and retrieve. It basically makes the life of a customer easy, and they don't have to fill up this entire information once again. Another great example is Aviva. This is a mobile-based example. So Aviva has a chatbot on their mobile website, which allows you to interact with it. But what this chatbot intelligently does is actually retains your chat conversations over a period of time. So once you leave the website and come back again, you can actually start having a conversation with the chatbot from where you exactly have left. Just makes the life so easy, and you don't have to recall whatever you have spoken to the chatbot in the past. Now let's summarize all those key opportunities that I have listed. Basically, if you are trying to fix your multiple pathway issues, make sure you have a sticky navigation bar available on those long scrolling pages, have easily understood terms available on your pages, have consistent labeling, have tools available on your website to make it easy for students to find the course pages, also introduce some sort of functionality to engage with returning prospects. So as of now, there's so much more to see, but we are out of time. What you saw today versus being a subscribing client, there's so much more we can offer you. As a subscribing client, we come to you with tailored analysis, historical data, online portal access, and if you're interested, please talk to us about the 2018 program. We will soon start our Q2 2018 study and in this month, and then we have the Q4 2018 study coming up sometime in the second half of the year. Thank you for your time, and here are the contact details if you would like to stay in touch. Have a nice day.